Welcome to Wood Talk. Now here are three guys who might stop by to ask for a cup of slab. Marc, Shannon, and Matt.
It's show number 593, and on today's show we're talking about grain filling turnings, crosscut sled versus mitersaw, and keeping on track with a large project. All that and more coming up, but first, we want to let you know that Wood Talk is proudly sponsored by Woodcraft. Woodcraft is the leading authority in woodworking, making, and creating. They have the tools, supplies, expertise, and hands-on classes to inspire creativity at every level. All of them. You take a level, they're going to inspire creativity on that level. Doesn't matter which one it is. You could learn more at woodcraft.com.
You can get off the elevator literally anywhere.
Anywhere.
Where you want. This is so weird without the music in the background. Okay.
It's just so weird.
I'm not used to this at all. It's really throwing off my flow. See how bad I am at this one. All right. And our show is also sponsored by the generous contributions of people like you. If you want to help support the show, you can absolutely totally do so by going to patreon.com/woodtalk and sign up to become a patron of the show. Mm-hmm. We'd like to thank Woodworking Warrior, Caleb Hund, Jens Berry, and Chad Green.
All
Woodworking Warrior.
nice.
Warrior is about to die. Sorry.
Warrior needs food. Okay.
I'm so glad you went with me on that.
I knew where you were at. I'm with you.
That's what was rolling through my head.
The whole way. All right. Well, hey, we got a big announcement about that giveaway. You guys remember the whole mini turning set? That was just closed off, and we do have a winner to announce. We're going to announce it right now. This is where people are going to find out about it.
I'm ready.
Now, here's
Right
the thing.
now.
I'm going to tell you
Any
something.
minute.
Any minute
right now.
I'm very picky about my giveaways. And when people enter multiple times, look, if you do it twice, I get it. Sometimes you forgot that you already entered or you didn't think it took, so you do a second one just in case. But when you have like 4 or 5 entries, like one right after the other, I start going, what are you doing? Right? So I did a random number generator. And if a winner happens to be one of those people who enters like 5 or 6 times, guess what happens? They don't win. That's the breaks. That's just the way it goes. That's the kind of giveaway host I am. And so I picked the next one, which happens to be a gentleman who only entered once, and that's Joe Wisnowski. Yay, Joe. Joe's in...
Joe!
He's in New
You
York,
win.
so he's probably got a cool accent. Joe, you're going to really enjoy this mini turning set. We're going to send your info over to Woodcraft. They will get that out to you ASAP, and you please write us back. Let us know what you think about it. If you made something with it, send us some pictures. We want to hear the whole story. But guess what?
Do you even have a lathe?
Do you have well, I would hope he does. Like, why would you enter this if you don't? Maybe he's
some other guy entered it 5 times.
He's a lathe hopeful. It's an aspirational entry.
When he gets a lathe, he's ready to go.
That's true. He's got what he needs. So guess what? We do have another giveaway coming up. And
Really?
that's we're going to call this, where are we? October?
Are we doing this all the time now?
Look, at least I told you through this rest of 2025.
I know you told me. I'm just trying to set you up to promote
except
this
that
a little more.
He told you that while we were recording on the last show. So
Yeah.
not only did he tell you,
told
he told
everybody.
everybody who was listening at the same time.
Assuming they were listening too.
Yeah, no,
You
but it's
assume
true.
everybody
Matt's
listens
right.
to every episode.
Matt's right, and he's the perfect co-host, and he's doing his job, and I failed to reciprocate.
Every time I try, it just
I'm
falls
just
flat.
I'm not used to it. It's like when you sent us an email saying we should talk about this on the show, and both Shannon and I ignored it. It's not like it's something you do very often. We should pay attention to it.
I feel like in our hearts we put a lot of effort into this show, but in reality,
maybe
in
not so
writing,
much.
Not so much.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, the next one coming up is a tap room cutting board kit. Without looking at it, and aside from the fact that it's a cutting board kit, what do you think makes this a tap room cutting board? Do you know?
do you put it on a beer tap and you have like a vertical cutting board?
Nope. It's just a regular cutting board.
In my head, I was picturing like a beer stein. You know how they make those pin kits that are like puzzle pieces and like American flags? I was picturing some sort of like laser cutting type thing, which is why I had to click through. I was disappointed.
Yeah, no, it's just a regular cutting board. And maybe it's just one that you maybe would have it on a bar and you would slice lemon with it or something.
But it's not just a regular cutting board, Mark, because as regular listeners of Wood Talk will know, it's made out of walnut and maple.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
That is somebody's favorite on this show.
I'm not going to pass judgment because it's a cutting board. I'm okay with it in a small thing.
I'm going to send them a little graphic, like a little red stamp that says Shannon approved, that we could, hopefully put on that page so that people can know.
Seriously, overlay it right over top of the image.
So anyway, listen, this is one of those kits where they have it couldn't get easier for you guys. This is just all the pieces. You simply glue them together, put on your finishing touches on this thing, put some edge profiles on there, a little bit of finish. Of course, they've got all the stuff you need there at Woodcraft to put the proper finish on there. This is a $75 value here. So go to woodtalkshow.com/giveaway is where you could enter to win. And enter once, because I'm telling you, if you enter twice, you've actually entered 0 times. Which is really funny how that math works out. There is a find duplicates feature in most spreadsheets, so I use that generously.
Oh, so I still don't know what makes this a taproom board.
I think
I'm looking at this like, I love you guys, Woodcraft, but like, there's no description. Taproom doesn't even appear in the write-up about this.
I was on a call with them, and I think that's just what they use to differentiate this amongst the other cutting board
it's
kits.
just like their name?
It's like a theme name based on the color and the species variety. So it's just a memorable name.
I think it's a great, like we talked about before, like this is a great value regardless. Like you can't even get the wood milled up and everything.
Yeah,
my favorite part of the reviews on this where people are complaining that it's wood. It's just strips of wood. I'm like, what?
What did they think it was going to be?
What are we thinking here? I don't know.
It didn't come with a tap room. That would be my chief complaint.
Yeah, right.
It said a tap room would come with this disappointed.
The reviews are, it was just strips of wood.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
I do have to wonder though, because the finished dimensions are 16 wide by 22 and a half long, which is wider than most people's planers. So, this is designed to approach to a beginner audience, right? It's already milled up. All you got to do is glue it together. But like if you were relying upon the planer to to clean up your glue lines or possible uneven glue ups, and you only have a benchtop planer, you may have a problem.
I mean, you're going to go over to the Wood River, whatever hand plane and just go for it.
Yeah, but it's all pre-milled, man. Like just use a couple calls, get that stuff lined up. All you got to do is sand it. I don't see any reason why you would need to plane this. It's probably already down to a thickness you wouldn't want to plane it anyway.
That's true. It does say 3/4, so hopefully it's a little bit heavy at 3/4.
Yeah. Man, this is like we're getting into it, and we're just talking about a giveaway. This is not even the mid-roll ad, you guys. And here we go. Very generous.
I can't help myself when it's so organically integrated into the show.
Maybe okay. Well, mid-roll done. All right. So make sure you guys go and enter. This is a great opportunity to get something cool from our sponsor, Woodcraft. All right.
We all need to have a beer when we announce the winner of the taproom cutting board.
Yes.
I haven't had a beer in like 2 years.
A frothy beer.
So you sure I'll have a beer with you guys. If I'm going to have
that's
one.
That's why we don't know what a taproom cutting board looks like.
Nobody here drinks
the
much.
problem.
I think Matt
Everyone's like, what are you talking about? This is what taproom cutting boards look like.
I mean,
obviously.
Matt, if you're going to drink, it's going to be wine, right?
I don't know. It depends on who I'm with.
Your wife.
What I'm doing. Oh, then it's going to be wine.
Yeah.
Otherwise...
Because it also has
unless she doesn't want to drink. Or if I want to, if she try not to drink, I will have something that she absolutely hates, like an IPA. And she'll be like, thank God I'm not drinking this.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you strike me more as the wine kind of guy. Wine with dinner kind of guy.
I do like that.
Do you drink, is it with every dinner or just special occasions?
I mean, I wish it was sometimes, but it's not.
Depends on how the kids behave that day.
Right. Oh,
I don't even drink, and I wish I had wine with every meal.
Because the only joy I have in life.
Oh my God! All right, we're way off course. Okay, let's get back to the bench, a place we probably should not be drinking while we're at. So guys, can you believe this? 19 years of the Wood Whisperer. This past month, 19 years.
I can believe it based off how old I feel. Yeah,
and how old I look.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I wasn't gonna quite say that, but I'm glad you did.
I know that's what you meant. I went into YouTube and it said, "Hey, big news!" Like how they have those little updates, news. Like big news in 12-point font. It's been 19 years today that you've had a channel. Let's celebrate. And then it says view analytics. And I'm like, well, that's not how I'm celebrating.
Yeah, right.
Pretty sure that's not going to get me too excited. But yeah, 19 years. And I even did an Instagram post with like some of the stats that represents for me. And compared to like real big channels and, you know, people who are outputting on a weekly basis, like people have my numbers beat. The numbers aren't that impressive. I just think it's the fact that I've been doing it this long and in spite of requests to stop, I just won't.
Yeah.
Please stop.
You can retire anytime.
I have to complain about this personally, though, because I got the similar note the other day that said, happy 15 years. And I was like, what the hell, man? I started this in 2008. For whatever reason, YouTube thinks I started in 2010. I got to get to the bottom of that.
Did it take a while before you posted to YouTube? Because I had a delay.
If you remember, when we started, Mark, YouTube didn't exist. We were on Blip TV.
Well, it existed,
Ustream and
but
stuff.
It wasn't taken seriously. It was literally a cat video platform.
Yeah, I suppose probably what happened is I didn't start uploading right away.
Yep.
That's the only thing I can figure. I mean, I don't really care because, like you said, like they don't give you a play button for longevity.
No.
So that'd be cool. But that'd actually be valuable.
My suggestion,
like, what do you mean 15 years?
My suggestion was the gray button, because if you're not gray when you start, after 20 years, you're gonna be. Like, I don't care what age you are, making content for 20 years.
That's a long time. That's a lot.
It is a long time. I mean, think about how much has changed since then, just in terms of like, didn't have kids, you know, now I've got a kid who's like, pretty soon he'll be in high school, and it's just crazy. You had no kids, Matt.
I had no kids.
Now you got 3 running around.
Absolutely.
Gosh dang. And Shannon, you're on like your 5th dog.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, time flies.
Absolutely.
Time flies. Yeah. Shannon weighs about half as much as he did back in those early days. There's half of Shannon.
Right. Yeah.
It is amazing though. So I don't know. We'll see how long we can keep doing this. I am also in the final stretch of the built-in desk, and hopefully...
I don't know if I believe that.
I don't know if I do either, but I'm going to give it a real hard try. I got a big ad campaign.
What are you going to talk about after that's done? I don't even know.
Probably just... I don't know. I'm out of ideas at this point. The longer I'm in this thing, the more blank my brain gets, and the less inspired I am. So I really need to get this done. So
just start over at the beginning. You know,
yeah, I guess
this
so.
Joiner's jumping.
Oh boy,
the 2026 edition.
King in his castle. Here we go. I had to go back and watch some of those videos just to pick up a couple of like pictures and
cringy moments.
Very cringy. Yeah, I don't know how anybody even watches it. To me, it's completely unwatchable in 2025. But it's a piece of history. What are you
different time, you know?
Oh boy,
2006. There wasn't a lot of competition. Yeah, basically,
we're in a lot. Marc's secret to success, there wasn't a lot of competition.
Exactly.
I'm okay with that. Fine with that. I'll ride that all the way into the sunset. So Matt, what about you? What do you got going
on? I've been, I guess, maybe procrastinating from my project. So, you know, kind of like what happened to you, where you kind of get pulled into other things. So I've been picking up logs because that's fun, and I actually enjoy that.
Okay.
So I've been out doing that, wrangling large logs onto the trailer, which is always an adventure and always fun. Quite enjoy that.
Cool.
But it's been weird. Like, I'm trying to pick out the material for the top of this table, and I have the entire, like, the whole stack from the whole log. I'm looking at it, and I've never, like, stressed so much about which slab to pick for the tabletop.
Yeah.
Because on one side, I'm like, okay, this one is really cool. Like, my first pick was, it's really cool, but it's almost too big, and I don't want to waste it, which sounds stupid in a sense. Because I'm like, the table's only like 5 feet long. The slabs are 11, and the first pick I had is like 43 inches wide, and the finished tabletop is 36. So I'm like, I don't really want to edge all that off. Because I'm like, it would make a really wicked, like, single slab, like, full normal size table. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I don't know if I really want to cut it up for this, to waste it on that.
Yeah.
So I've been like, I had a few laid out. I've been kind of like going back and forth and looking at them, and I did that again today. And I'm like, I think I have like settled on one of them. And my original plan going into it kind of blindly before actually like looking at the wood was that I would cut one in half and have that for the tabletop, and then use the other half and chop that all up for all the base material parts. But on all the slabs where I like a section for the tabletop, the rest of the slab doesn't really have a whole lot of like clear, longer, straight grain cutting areas that I could pull that stock from. So I'm also like, well, that kind of sucks because now I got to cut up another slab, which again, not a big deal, but it's not my original like thought going into it. So it always reminds me of like the going to pick up lumber at a lumber yard, like video suggestion things that everybody seems to mention, where it's like, you have your first plan. I think Shannon says this all the time. You have your first plan, then you have like your second plan, and then you have like your third plan because you don't know what you're going to get when you get to the lumber yard. Well, I got too many choices.
Yeah.
So I got like decision paralysis.
Yeah. So now you're doing what everyone else has to do, which is like, you do the best you can with what's available at the lumber place.
I'm just over here doing the
exception.
best I can.
Yeah, just do the
You
best
have
can.
too many choices, but you already own all those choices. So
That's true.
Screw you, Matt. Screw you.
Well, it's an opportunity cost thing because I could sell the other choices.
Right.
Okay. Remember when Matt said he doesn't want to sell lumber? Wants nothing to do with that business?
Yep.
I think you're just making up excuses now, Matt.
Yeah,
Well,
just pick it
they're
and go.
like my babies, you don't want to let them all go.
So are
They can
you?
become
although-
something else.
Was it? I think it was maybe a couple episodes ago we were talking about how like you design stuff and you have to remember like the point of view, like you'll never see the under the table. Right after that episode, I think I went back into like the gym area of my house and I was doing sit-ups and there's a bench that I built that like it's where I sit down to like put on my cycling shoes and stuff. And there's this beautiful streak of sapwood on the trestle. And I just had to be doing sit-ups to notice it. So you never know. Like designed for seeing all sides of it because you never know when you'll find yourself like on the floor, passed out or doing sit-ups or passed out because of sit-ups on the floor. And you see this lovely like streak of sapwood that makes
So-
a really strong design statement.
I have to ask though, was that intentional sapwood or the after the project like a year later discovery?
No, it was absolutely intentional.
Okay.
And, I mean, and it's clearly put in a way that like, yeah, I could have probably made the trestle a little bit narrow and cut the sapwood away, but no, it's definitely a design decision. But you can't see it when you're standing up.
Yeah.
You got to be like laying prone on the
ground.
floor,
Yeah.
hitting the medical alert bracelet in order to see the sapwood. Basically.
Help me! I see the sapwood. All right.
You do you, Matt. You do you.
I think
Stick to
you're
your
going to
guns.
figure it all out. I have faith in you, Matt. It'll all be okay.
It's going to make for a really convoluted guild video. I can already tell you that.
Well.
I've been shooting that.
That is
Yeah,
the best kind of video.
Let's look at this one. Well, maybe not this one. Let's go look at this one.
I don't know about you, but I have so much of that footage on the cutting room floor because I love that part of a project. Like I can spend hours trying just the right grain match, gluing up panels like in 17 different ways. And I end up filming it all because I think, oh, this will be really interesting. And then I throw it into the editor and I'm like, this is so boring.
This is utterly unwatchable.
No one would ever care this much.
But I mean,
about a
ultimately, when you get to the one you picked and you've got a rhyme and reason for it, you're explaining that process. That's hugely valuable. But a lot of the stuff that you chose not to do, I mean, maybe, but
maybe.
it just depends. All right. Well, what do you got going on, Shannon? You brag about how much wood you have?
How much wood that I have but haven't been able to work. I've been on a plane since our last recording. I think I've been on a plane 4 times.
Ooh.
Just doing architect presentation. So I've been talking about wood a lot, but not actually working it. Which I don't know.
Boo.
Does that make me an armchair woodworker now?
Only if you go to the internet and complain on other people's
That's true.
videos.
Here I go.
Yes.
Hang on.
That's what you do with your time.
What was that oatmeal comment or cartoon from like way back when? It was like there's a dude in like the dark in his basement with like a single light and he's madly typing away. And it's like someone is wrong on the internet.
Yeah, that's the classic. Well, that's good. That's all you got?
Yeah, it's been good. I'm educating. I'm evangelizing about wood, doing continuing ed courses for architects. It's been great fun.
Somebody's got to do it. All right.
Suppose.
Well, let's get into our kickback. You got the first one there.
Yeah, this is from Justin. He says, I wanted to say that I've listened to Shannon's Lumber Industry Update podcast on plywood. There's 3 episodes, at least 100 times. They're the perfect podcast for falling asleep to.
Nice.
Just interesting enough to distract me, but boring enough to fall asleep to. Thanks, Shannon. That's awesome. I had to throw that in there because that was in our Patreon, not the Lumber Update Patreon. But
Okay.
it's also my clever way of segueing into I have a deal running on the Lumber Update podcast. This is a good problem to have where I give away stickers, information, technical, like information species stickers. And I've hit the threshold where I have to order 100 more stickers. Like I have enough stickers now that I can't just order 25 more stickers. I have to order, if I order one more, I've got to order 100 more. So I just threw out a deal saying, hey guys, I need some more Patreon supporters to justify these 100 extra stickers floating around. So I'm for people joining that level of Patreon in October and November, I'm giving away 6 stickers.
6 stickers.
Yeah. Sign up for a month, get 6 stickers. Sign up for 2 months, get 6 stickers.
That's a steal at any price.
So yeah, there you go. Come support that podcast because it's boring, but not boring enough, apparently, according to Justin.
I find that complimentary.
Just the right amount of boring.
As someone who has
right
terrible sleep hygiene and often needs like the sound of something that's just interesting enough that I want to hear it, but just like boring enough that I could tune it out, is like the perfect thing to fall asleep to. And that's a comfort.
Not so interesting
comfort
that
thing.
You rewind it next time you start listening because you missed something.
Right.
You just roll on ahead.
Yep.
Exactly.
100, you're barely paying attention in the first place. Well, so that's patreon.com/lumber update.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
So
I'm terrible at this promotion.
Good job,
go
Marc.
there, you can go there and search, but I figured given the URL. So yeah, patreon.com/lumber update and go help Shannon with these stickers.
Yeah.
It's a big problem that he's got to fix over here.
100 stickers floating around in a shoobbox somewhere.
It'd be the worst.
Or 98
You
stickers.
send them to me and I'll give them to Wood Talk people.
There we go.
Worst case scenario. All right. Next one we have here is from Brent. You know, we like to post opposing opinions. We're not, we're not infallible. Sometimes we make mistakes. Not often, though. Brent says, I think your shaper discussion on the last episode missed the mark. They are not difficult to set up. It may take the 15 minutes Shannon mentioned to set up a Coke and stick. That's his word. He said Coke, like the drink, and stick cutter. But any basic profile doesn't take any longer to set up than a router table. Think in terms of a table saw. It takes longer to dial in a tenon than it does to run a simple groove. Beyond the table size of a shaper and the added horsepower, the biggest plus is the cut quality. The mass of the cutters, along with the slower RPM, give the superior cut to any router bit. A shaper is a great tool to have. I bet Shannon could even store something on top of one.
I could.
There you go.
That'd be a great place to put my Joint Maker Pro.
Oh, that would be a classic.
Be awesome.
Nice sturdy
stable base for it. Yeah.
Yep. Real heavy. Perfect. Good deal. Well, thanks for that, Brent.
Let's see. I don't know. Who's this from? Oh, from Jonathan Shapansky. Hey, how are you, Jonathan? On the topic of workshop first aid, I wanted to recommend the book Workshop Wound Care from Lost Art Press. It talks about how to treat a whole range of workshop-related injuries with a second chapter titled Chapter 2, Build a Proper First Aid Kit. It's an excellent book written by an ER doctor. There we go. Cool. LostArtPress.com.
Very nice.
Just look it up. Workshop Wound Care. I feel like I remember that when that came out. That was a while ago.
I vaguely remember it
good
too.
Option.
That is pretty interesting, especially since our topic was like making your own kit, having actual like verifiable and qualified information on what to put in a kit like that is pretty great. And it's Lost Art Press, so everything they do is gold pretty much. Also was recommended by another person named John. I just want to give John credit because he made the same recommendation. So thank you guys for sending that in.
Thanks, Johns.
Both.
Nice coincidence.
Does Jonathan go by John though? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I've never seen him type it that way, but what do I know? All right. Anyway,
Start calling him by the wrong name. All right. This is from Adam. This is about the height adjustable table saw. Craftsman made a bizarre electronic job site table saw that you can control the height and angle with an old school keypad. It was my first table saw I owned. Had the worst fence I've ever seen, but the blade adjustments were incredibly accurate.
wow.
I have never even seen this before.
Okay,
how old is this?
It looks very old. So this is a fine woodworking forum post, and there is a picture there. It says Craftsman Electronic 10-inch table saw. It's got a bunch of buttons on it. Looks very 80s. That's pretty cool. We're going to definitely put this, I'm sure Todd will get this into the video feed. And if you're listening to this, go to the show notes at woodtalkshow.com. You got to click on this thing and take a look at it. It's pretty wild. So I would love to know like some of the inside story about something like that, like why it was made in the first place. Clearly must not have done well in the market, that it didn't go anywhere, but at that they were doing it then. and then decided, well, nobody wants this crap. Let's never do this again. Pretty cool, though.
This looks like it could. This is kind of like what we wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's along the lines, put it in the same category as what Festool is doing with theirs. I don't mean same category quality-wise, but it does the same sort of thing. You got that vertical adjustment. But dude, that keypad, it looks like you could like dial a phone number with this thing.
Whatever you want. Put it
I
in
actually kind of like it. I think it would be very in vogue right now. It's very retro.
It is.
I don't even have to redesign the UI there. It would be perfect.
It's a table saw by ColecoVision.
Yeah, and you can see
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's the bevel angle too, which I think is a nice plus.
Tandy table saw.
Yeah, I love the fact though that like any, not any, there were certainly some of the more recent creations that weren't that bad. A lot of Craftsman table saws just had crappy fences, like real crappy. So that's pretty cool though. Very, very cool piece of history. Well, you know who doesn't sell electronic table saws with crappy fences?
Or with good fences, for that matter.
That's true. Well, no, they might sell the Festool table saw there. So they've got that one. Well, anyway, you guys know who I'm talking about. Talking about Woodcraft. Our good buddies over at Woodcraft that we've already done a mid-roll ad before. Now we're going to do another one because we like them so much. So here's the story. Here's what I did. You guys remember I went on my little crazy flattening escapade a couple weeks ago?
Unfortunately, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got to keep you guys updated all week long with texts with my sharpening. Well, I decided once this was done, I needed to actually sharpen a couple of plane irons, and I wanted to film something for Woodcraft. So they have a 3-piece diamond sharpening set. So basically, they come together in a little kit with a nice little lid, and you can pull each one of the stones out if you want to address them individually or hang them off the bench or something like that, depending on what you're sharpening. But they come together 400, 600, and 1,000 grit. And I decided just to take a 25-degree milled iron bevel, and I used their honing guide. So it's all Wood River stuff that I'm using here. And it came out great. And I don't normally stop at 1,000. I normally hone past that. But I was like, you know what? Just for funsies, let's put this up in a plane and see how it did. And it was pretty great. I mean, I definitely one of those things that reminded me of the diminishing returns that can happen when you go to higher and higher grits. So I still might go, for my own sharpening, because I'm like that, I'm still going to go higher than 1,000. But if you're looking to like really just get started in sharpening, having this 3-piece set, it's $99, 400, 600, 1,000. They work great. And I just used a little bit of, I've been using like warm water, but with like maybe a drop of dish soap in there just to get a little bit of lubrication. And my gosh, does it cut fast and clean. It worked really, really well. And the honing guide reminds me of a smaller version of the Woodcraft, Woodpeckers honing guide. It works in a similar way. They've got that little metal gauge block. It doesn't have preset stops, but it does have lines. So if you want to go to a 27 degree to get yourself that micro bevel, easy enough to do. This thing worked flawlessly. So what a great combo for a reasonable price over there. So you want to take a look at the Wood River Premium Honing Guide and the Diamond Stone Set if you're looking for a way to get started sharpening. Also noticed that they had the one of those silicone sharpening mats. So that's the thing that allowed me to do this at home. We have nice new countertops, and Nicole would have kicked my butt.
That's the thing, huh?
Over St. Louis if I had done this on top of the counters without some kind of a silicone mat. So that is something to look into as well. But really, really nice stuff. A lot of the Wood River products are really great and worth taking a look at. So I wanted to let you guys know about that, and then also going to just tease this a little bit. We'll talk about this more on the next show. So you guys remember the big Jessam demo that they had and the big giveaways and all? Well, this coming month in November, it's going to be Kreg. So November 7th and 8th, they're having a huge Kreg event. Every store is going to have one of these things, and they have another giant grand prize for the national prize. It's retail value is $2,129.87. It's going to have a whole bunch of stuff. I guess Kreg has some new cordless tools. Their Ionic Drive cordless tool sets. So I'm not going to list all the stuff. You can go take a look at it. But there's a lot that you're going to have a chance to win here just by attending one of these events and entering. So highly, highly recommend that. Keep an eye out in November. So November 7th and 8th for that. So thank you so much, Woodcraft, for sponsoring the show. We appreciate it. And let's get on with whatever else is in this document that I have to read. Yeah, okay. Questions. That's
Questions,
where we're at.
like the whole part of the show.
The whole point of the show?
based on,
So, something like that.
Okay.
audience participation, that thing.
I had to get a drink of water. All right. Scott wrote in. He says, I've been making a lot of pepper mills from different species of wood. Some need the grain filled. I've recently tried aquacoat and it seems to work okay, but I'm new to using it because the wood is not flat. I can't use a credit card or something similar to press the aquacoat into the grain and scrape off most of the excess. I usually just rub it in with my hands. I'll sand with 320, do a few applications of aquacoat. The dried aquacoat that's on the surface needs to be sanded off and it's easy to miss spots. I was thinking it might be easier to fill the grain if I had a couple coats of shellac on the wood first. What do you think? I'd appreciate any application or prep tips for using grain filler on a round object. If you guys have input on this, please feel free to chime in. I don't turn very often, but I do have experience with grain fill.
Is he turning?
Yeah.
I mean, that's my initial reaction, but why not just pour fill on the lathe? Why not sand on the lathe?
I'm sure he does.
I feel like he is. I don't think anything he said indicates that he's taking it off the lathe.
Okay.
He's still having trouble applying it. So my guess he's spinning at a slow speed. He slaps some aquacoat in there on his hands.
Give it a little rub.
Lubes it up and rubs down that pepper mill like it's his like it owes him money.
Wow.
Okay, hold on. Title.
Yeah, exactly.
Rubbing the pepper mill.
Oh my gosh. Rubbing off the pepper mill.
All right. Shannon just left. I think
he's gone.
He's sick
it was
of
too much for him.
He's sick of my crap.
Screw this crap.
Getting visual aids for our video listeners.
Okay, what you got there? Oh, well, you want me to answer first?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have actually used this stuff as well as a pour filler, and it does take a few coats. I've not found that you can get great results with just a single coat. But to answer your question, I actually do think it's a good idea to pre-seal the wood with something. I think it makes it a little bit easier for you to really just focus on the filler absorbing and going deep into the pore pockets rather than just kind of absorbing into the surrounding wood. And it certainly will make your life easier when it comes time to remove the excess and sand that excess away. It might even make it even easier to see that you've done that. Now there's another product you could also look into. I've had better luck with Timbermate as a wood filler. You could dilute that down with water. And I find that that's easier to track where it is, where it's gone, if it's filled or not, and it's very easy to sand. But the same rules apply. You could totally use, put a coat of shellac on there, seal it up, and then hit it with a Timbermate, fill those pores, and then sand it back. I think you're totally on the right track with that methodology, but you could also consider trying a different product that you just might have better luck with. I just find that I get easier, better coverage with fewer coats with something like Timbermate versus the Aqua Hooch, whatever it's called.
Aqua Hooch. They should rename it to Aqua Hooch.
Aquacoat.
Awesome.
There you go.
Aqua Hooch.
Yeah. So what were you going to show us?
Triple E polishes by U-Butte Finishes. Another
nice.
Australian brand. U-Butte polishes. It's called Triple E Ultra Shine. It is like this paste that is like miracle. First of all, I mean, they say like it basically triples whatever the last grit of sanding that you used, but it's fantastic for large pore type stuff. I was just using it the other day on my lathe. I mean, you put just a tiny little bit on like a shop towel. I usually apply it with a lathe off and just kind of hand rotate, get it in there. Otherwise it's like splattering all over my face shield and that's no fun. But like, it is amazing. It fills in the pores super, super quick, takes away any kind of sanding dust. And my God, the grit, like the equivalent grit that comes from it. I usually sand about 600 grit on things that I want gloss, but this just takes it up a notch.
Wow.
And then I will do some sort of shellac based over top of that. I don't know whether I need to or not, but just to like seal that in.
Seems like you would.
And then I can go on from there. The other side of this would be, it depends upon like the gloss, the sheen that you're going for, but a CA finish would be a super easy one. Go with a medium to thick CA, and apply it, lathe on slow speed. If you can put it on initially, if you're doing medium, I would put it on by hand initially, so it's not spraying up and gluing your face shield to your face. assuming you're wearing a face shield. If it's thick, you can generally wipe it on pretty quickly, and it builds so fast. And then you can sand it back using like acrylic sanding pads, and if necessary, follow up with a thin coat just to kind of fill it in and level it out. That will give you like acrylic pin blank results on the most porous of woods. And I would specifically go and buy like CA4 like finishing. You know, I mean, you could go and buy Gorilla Glue or like the typical Type Bond type stuff, but I find that there are CA finish kits at any place where you can buy turning supplies that just tend to have a little bit better viscosity.
Well, I was going to say, is it a viscosity thing? Do they also like modify it in such a way to delay the cure a little bit?
I think that's the other side of it.
Because otherwise,
I've used Accelerator with them as well, like between coats just to let it harden up, and then I come back with acrylic sanding pads, you know, that start at like 1200 grit and work up to 12,000 grit or whatever. But I've been using this. This is probably my 4th jar in 20 years. So it goes a long, long way, but I've been using it for 20 years.
Does that stuff, does it make a slurry? Are you actually getting like wood dust in there with that? Or is that the material purely that's filling the pores?
That's the material. Now, if you've got wood dust in there, I don't think it would hurt.
Sure.
The only thing I would say, like if you were doing it on, I mean, it's abrasive. There is an abrasive in there. So if I ever use it on pins, like be cautious of the bearings, because not that it's, I mean, you'd have to really not pay attention to reduce the diameter of your bearings, but you'll get that black slurry as it essentially grinds away the bearing, which if you right from the bearing onto the pin, you're going to pull that black slurry. And if you've got a light colored wood, that will cause a problem. But so, yeah, I mean, since it is abrasive, I guess in some respects it's mixing some of that slurry in, but yeah.
But it's so fine, it's probably not creating a lot of
I mean, it really is.
Just reminding me of the classic using an oil finish for people who are trying to pour fill, not on a turning necessarily.
Like wet sanding?
Yeah, doing a wet sanding process to create that slurry, but I don't know you want to do that on a lathe.
I just like it because it goes, I mean, it lasts for flipping ever.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, this is my 3rd jar. It's probably 5 years old at this point, and I barely touched it. So yeah, I think the first jar I bought just gave up. The shelf life lasted too long, so didn't last long enough. Rather, good stuff.
All right, what do you got going on? Hey. Who's next?
I got to talk some more. Great.
Oh, good.
This is from Alon.
That's what everybody likes.
He says, I've been working on the Morris chair, the Guild Morris chair, I'm assuming, since October 2021. Nice. Life responsibilities like kids, work, and taking care of the household grew so much that my woodworking time was reduced to the point that it's become very hard mentally to resume the project when I do have a free evening, which could be maybe late evening once a month at most sometimes. What would you advise when the project on the workbench is so large and complex that it's become a barrier to go back in the shop? I love this question because I think we've all struggled with this at some point or another. I actually struggled with it so much that I built a lesson in the hand tool school about this. It comes down to, like, we waste a lot of time picking up where we left off. Like, what did I have to do next? What did I do last when I was here? And if it's been like a month or even sometimes 2 days since you've been in the shop, it's like, what did I last do? So then it becomes 15 minutes of figuring out where do I pick up next, 15 minutes of strategizing, what do I want to do next? And then maybe 15 minutes of figuring out, well, what can I actually get done in the 15 minutes I have remaining, which turns into doing nothing. And then you think, all right, well, I could do that, or I could sit here and watch Netflix. Or worse, you're watching Netflix and you think, I really should go work in the shop, but what am I actually going to do when I get down there? And then you just watch more Netflix or watch more YouTube of woodworking instead of actually woodworking. So I found that when I'm working on a project, I generally will, I have a little clipboard stuck to my air cleaner. It has a magnet on it that I will write down the last thing that I did on that project. And if I were to continue working, what would be the next thing that I do? So right away, I can come into the shop and I can see, here was my train of thought when it was fresh in my head. Here's what I finished. Here's what I need to do next. And that can save sometimes 20 minutes of just faff running around the shop. The other side of this is, you get busy, but you can break a project down. I've always said projects more difficult projects are not difficult. They just have a lot more steps. Really, really complex joinery can always be broken down into something relatively simple. I've got to saw to this line first. Then I've got to chisel to that line, and you're thinking, oh my God, it's full blind dovetails or some sort of crazy Japanese joint. It's still sawing and chiseling to lines. Mm-hmm. So if you break down a project and you're thinking, okay, next step on this is to dovetail the drawers, and it's a 9-drawer chest. You're like, oh my God, that's daunting. So this sounds a little silly, maybe a little pedantic, but instead of saying dovetail the drawers, literally dovetail the front corner of the bottom drawer. Mm-hmm. Like, it's funny, and we all love checklists. There's something very satisfying about checking things or crossing things off. Build a checklist and actually schedule your shop time. So if you're thinking, I know I can get into the shop for 20 minutes next Tuesday night, just dovetail a corner, one corner. That's all you got to do. And you'll find that snowballs. And if you know that, hey, I can get into the shop for 5 minutes tomorrow, what's on my to-do list? And you can very quickly look at that to-do list. And yeah, you're probably going to spend like an hour building a to-do list. But it's amazing how powerful that is when you just know just this one thing. And it's not build a drawer, because that could be milling the parts to the drawer. It could be dovetailing the parts. It could be gluing together the drawer bottom, cutting the groove for the drawer bottom. But grooving the drawer sides is a very achievable, very smart goal that you can very quickly check off. And I think what happens, especially when the project feels daunting, it's less about how much time I get and more about being able to see my progress. Mm-hmm. And if I can cross that off, I can say, I made progress. And that is motivation to get you back in the shop. It has saved my butt on really, really complex things. And I can get even more granular. If you look at something, the other thing I will say is, if you don't know how long it will take, like I say, dovetail a corner, and you're like, well, that could take me 3 hours. If you don't honestly know how long it would take, break it down further and break it down further until you can say, okay, I can confidently do that in 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know, like I said, break it down further. Maybe it's lay out the front corner of the drawer, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm speaking for myself, I'm not a professional woodworker. I don't have 40, 50 hours a week to do this. I'm lucky sometimes if I have 15 minutes in a week to get in the shop. But if I can go in and cross one thing off, it's amazing how motivating that is. It's organization, it's checklists, it's a lot of, clerical work, if you will, but it's also gamification. We're all subject to it. So, do it. Write down that checklist, and you'll be surprised how excited you will actually be about, ooh, I can go do this, or I got 10 minutes before dinner, and you'd be amazing how much shop time you will actually find when you didn't have it before.
Yeah. I am going through a lot of this right now with this desk. The fact that it will not end is troubling to me. I need to move on. I cannot stay in a project this long without starting to lose my mind a little bit. And the most frustrating part is, even now, I'm so close. I've got finish on it. Now's the time to do a quick assembly. Then I bring it home and do the install. I have to stop. I have to stop for a week because we have a urgent ad situation that has that. It's an ad emergency that needs to be taken care of. And I have no choice but to stop. But it is killing me not to finish this thing off. And the thing is, I'm not that good at built-ins. So I had a whole plan in mind. Which face frame pieces get pre-attached? What am I attaching on site? Should I trim that ahead of time? There are so many areas that I can screw up if I'm not careful. So we had a conversation very similar to this, Shannon. I remember you specifically pointing out you putting the clipboard on your air cleaner. Mm-hmm. So I can't remember the context of that conversation, but it was recent. And in that conversation, it kind of reminded me how important it is to kind of keep a log of what I'm doing. And then, because I don't know, my life is so unpredictable right now that I do not know when I'm going to get back in to resume where I left off. I've done two things. I leave Post-it notes. So I'll take a pile of parts and say what this whole part was. Where was I going to go next? And just jot down a little note. But I will also use my voice app on my phone to just, in my own words, explain what I just did, where I was, and if I had more time today, what would I be doing next?
Yeah,
and it's
that's so key.
It is amazing how, writing it down, sometimes it gets lost in translation. I just find if I use my own words and I talk to myself, I can use that as a verbal reminder the next time I'm in the shop, and it puts my head right back into the game. And then I'm able to kind of pick up and resume a little bit faster.
Yeah, I have no question. We've probably talked about this 3 and 4 times on the show because it works. I mean, I've been doing it for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Especially when I got into like the whole content creation side of things, like because there's building, but then there's also the shots, the shot list that I've got to get on top of this. And if it wasn't for that, yeah, I have when I haven't done it, I am much easier to just stay on the couch and blow that 15 minutes instead of getting something done.
For sure.
So, yeah, it's awesome.
I have a different take for Alon on this one.
Oh, quiet.
Here we go. Here we go.
So
I go and stare at my wood piles for like 3 hours and inspiration strikes.
I do that a lot. I spend a lot of time just looking and staring at nothing. Okay. What ends up happening to me. It sounds like to me, Alon, this is more of like you're more of a hobbyist. Woodworking in the shop time is supposed to be something that you enjoy and it gives you fulfillment and you feel passionate about it. If you're not feeling passionate about this project anymore, don't finish it. Put it in the corner. Forget about it. Find something new that you're excited to work on in the shop, because at the end of the day, from reading this question, it sounds like what you get out of the shop is the journey, not so much the destination of finishing that project. So start something new, try
really
something
terrible
new.
Design. What a stupid.
It's a horrible project. It's never going to work out anyway. The plans are all wrong. You're going to spend too much time trying to figure out what's going on.
I knew somehow this would turn into my fault. It's pretty sure. But I see what you're saying, though. This is therapeutic. It's therapeutic for him to be in the shop, and because of this barrier that's set up,
you don't need any more stress in your life. You already have. It sounds like you have enough stress already. So why stress about what's going on in your shop when that's supposed to be the thing that de-stresses you?
Yeah.
Like go build a shop project. Like that's the ultimate like self-indulgent project, right?
Mm-hmm. Do a quick shop project. Yeah, I mean, and I know how it is. Like I rely, Shannon, you probably do this too. Exercise is a form of therapy for me, and I get real cranky when I can't do it. Or if I planned on doing it and then something out of my control changes my plan, it makes me even more upset. And I feel like that's kind of the loop he's got himself in, where if he can't get into the shop, he just gets mad at the project. He's probably, that may work its way into the household because he's just annoyed that he didn't have the chance to get in the shop. So set the scale smaller. You're right. I mean, I know it's a guild project. I'd like to see him finish it, but if you have to, push it to the side. You could always get back to it later. Do something smaller. Great idea.
You're not getting back to it now, so you might as well get back to it later.
Yeah, and still get some quality shop time. You go in there and flatten your plane soles, whatever you're into.
I mean, if you really want to, you can even do that in the house with the kids.
You can.
Absolutely. Catch a silicone mat from Woodcraft.
Yeah, that too. Yep. You got to absorb the sound. Although both Nicole and Mateo cannot stand the sound of any metal rubbing, like other things like that. So the two of them were just like, I got to leave. I've got to leave.
I can't be here.
Like, get out of here. I was watching TV anyway. All right, Matt, you're up.
All right, this is from Ed. Hey guys, I'm a serial remodeler who, although I lack a forklift, also aspires for more time for actual woodworking. Kind of a basic question, but other than large panels, how do you decide whether to use a miter sled versus a miter saw? I built a miter saw station for my 12-inch compound miter saw using the Woodpecker Stealth Stop and use it or a track saw for the cabinet grade things I'm normally building. I should build a crosscut sled and invest in a better miter gauge, but I wonder if installing my good miter saw blade for installing my good oh my gosh, installing my good miter saw blade for fine work and investing in edge guides for my track saw is a better first step. Thanks for doing the show. I always look forward to a new episode, and thanks, Woodcraft.
Thanks, Woodcraft.
That was a lot for me.
That was a big one.
Mm-hmm. So I just thought I would just kind of run. I guess everyone's workflow is going to be different. For me, I don't do enough like repeated choppy out of long boards to actually have any desire to want a miter saw station. I feel like they're like the biggest waste of space that you can put into a shop. Again, unless your workflow is like I buy 1x4s and I chop them up into little pieces and I pocket screw them together and set them out the door.
Who even are you?
You didn't take offense to that? Okay. Well. Oh man. So I like to use the table saw for a lot of this stuff, especially for repeated crosscuts, and a lot of furniture parts tend to be pretty small too. So I like having the extra space to be able to stage parts and have things kind of have somewhere to go, because you have the entire table saw to set things out of your way, which you may or may not have depending on how your miter saw station is set up, depending on what your counter space is. But at the very least, the area where your actual miter saw bed is that's kind of small. At least it feels small for like a lot of the time. So I'm not that into that sort of workflow. For like really big stuff, my crosscut sled can do up to 22 inches wide, which is a lot of pieces that you would have for most carcasses for furniture making. Other than that, though, then I go to my track saw past that point. So again, it depends on your workflow and depends on what you're making. It kind of sounds like, since you're a serial remodeler, you're probably building cabinetry, which I absolutely hate after experiencing that. So you're probably working with larger stuff anyway. So your track saw is probably a better bet for a lot of these larger crosscuts, unless you want to do a very, very large panel sled type of thing, or a sliding table saw type of dealy whacker. But here's the crux of this question is that, like, do what you want and use the workflow that makes you the most happy. Because at the end of the day, it's your shop and it's the things you're making, and what you're doing is different than me. And figure out what works best for you and kind of go for that, I guess.
Also kind of like,
one more
definitely get a forklift, because
you need a forklift
for sure.
But the other thing I don't like about the miter saw necessarily is the fact that it's not always quite ready to go for like perfect cuts. Like, it doesn't have out of the box zero clearance on the fence or on the table. So you have to put a zero clearance insert into the table, and you have to build an auxiliary fence to get zero clearance on the back, versus that's like inherently part of a crosscut sled from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah. I think
I just
a lot
never
of this
spent the money on a decent chop saw. So I've never had, like, it's never been a quote fine woodworking tool for me. Mm-hmm. It's always been, a Craftsman model, whatever. And I never trusted it. So it was for rough stock breakdown, perfect for remodeling. And like Marc said, pocket hole screwing things together.
Yeah. I kind of go back and forth, and it depends on what miter saw is in my shop. So when I was in my non-Capex years, that is when I gravitated more toward crosscut sleds and using the table saw for those crosscuts. But the Capex it's definitely, it's not perfect, but for cut quality and being able to maintain a square cut and be accurate, it's pretty damn good. And if you are cutting trim and you're cutting pieces that fit within the, most of my solid stock, 99% of it will fit on that table and be cut by that saw. So because of that, like, accuracy in that saw, my workflow changes when a Capex is in the mix. When the Capex isn't in the mix, I don't want to use the miter saw because they're like the cuts, even if they're square, a lot of times you have something really wide, you'll find it's a little bit dished out in the middle. It's not quite perfect. It'll drive me crazy. So that's when I'd rather use, more classic methods with the table saw. But we're also talking about solid wood and plywood in the same conversation. There's only so much you could use that miter saw for regarding plywood, right? You have very little capacity. So you have to come up with either a sled solution, regular table saw solution, or the track saw solutions. Yeah. So for me, like, when I need my first square corner on a large panel for a cabinet or something, that is always done on the ground with my little foam pads and one of the square guides with a track. And that is like incredibly reliable for giving me a good starting point. And with one square corner, now it's all at the table saw for parallel cuts. Works great.
You don't disagree with me that much. You made it sound like there was this big giant chasm between us.
Well, there is now. I hate you.
I just remember my first iteration of my shop, I built this huge miter saw station.
Yeah.
And it took up, it was probably 15 feet of the opening of the shop, and it had Kreg integrated you did the whole stops thing. And I was doing precision cuts, and I had a Craftsman 12-inch miter saw that was just terrible.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Let me ask you this. If you had the room, if you have a good sized shop, would you or would you not want a 12-foot to 16-foot bank of cabinets for storage with a countertop? You wouldn't want that?
What are you asking? Me?
I mean, either one of you.
I don't have that much crap, and I shouldn't have that much crap. That's the point of my life I'm at.
That's just a place to stick stuff.
There is no reason why I should have that much crap in my shop.
Why not? Why you don't have enough stuff to store in there, including tools? I'm not talking about just I
don't need that. There's no reason. There's no reality where I need that much crap. I've gone down that road already. I have recovered from absolute fill the space with as much crap as possible.
Yeah.
I am fully recovered from that. I have no desire to do that again.
Good for you. You need to do a TED Talk on this.
I'm with you, Matt. Absolutely.
You know,
I've completely turned the corner on that one.
like you and Vic Teselin do a minimalist woodworker thing together, right?
I'm starting to go down that road even further, I think. I'm like, I don't need it in my shop. I don't need it
Good
in my
for you.
life.
I need 12 foot of cabinetry in my life. And that's why putting a miter saw in the middle of it does no harm. I needed that space anyway. I just sacrificed a small little area in the middle where I set the saw, and the rest of the bench top is usable for anything else, but also for cutting stuff.
Back in the day, I had the miter saw let me back up even further. I had a miter saw before I had a table saw. That was like my first saw to cut anything. Yeah. I couldn't do rip cuts. I could only cross cut things. So all of my pieces of furniture were made out of 1x whatever they glued up to, that was the width of that panel. Or that was going to be the width of a rail. It's going to be 3.5 inches because it's dimensioned 1x4. And kind of going forward with that, even after I had the table saw, I still had my 12-inch Makita slider, and I had a big, I think it was an 8-foot long workbench table thing with the shelf beneath it. So that took up a lot of space in the shop just to house that miter saw. And that was when I was still in a 2-car garage. And I got to the point where I'm like, I have a table saw that can do crosscuts. Why am I doing all my crosscuts over here on this duplicative tool when I could just not have this giant table with the saw on it? And what ended up happening with the shelf beneath it, it was just full of crap. It's just all offcuts and scraps that I would, maybe I'll use this someday. Never touched them. Yeah. Never. I got rid of the whole thing. I freed up all that space in my shop.
Wow.
Just like
Preach it, brother.
Really learning something about you guys today.
Testify.
That took up almost 10% of the entire square footage of the entire shop.
Yeah, and my logic is I want that taken up by cabinets anyway. So it doesn't, you know what I mean? I would have it there without the saw, so I may as well have the saw. Do you think any of this comes down to, with the solid wood that you're working with, most times you have very wide boards that are going to exceed the capacity of most sliding compound miter saws anyway. Yeah,
that's part of it, but even for cutting rails or stiles or smaller door parts or things like that, I still would want to do that on a table saw though.
Okay.
And for me, the miter saw, if it's something that it gets set up and put away. So if I do have something where I need to do that kind of stuff, it's always been take it out, set it up, do whatever and put it away, which works fine for that for the occasional weird long stuff. If I want to cut the end of an 8-foot long board, I'm not going to do that on a table saw. That's kind of a weird cut to do there. But I don't do that. The problem is
it's because you got the floozy of a miter saw. What you need is the one you want to marry. You know what I'm talking about? You get the hoochie miter saw. You got to get the one that you could take home to mom. It's a better quality one.
The same one as you.
You had the K-Pex?
Yeah.
I just want to see how far I could take this conversation.
I was like, what?
Into the stupidest areas.
Different dating standards now? Is this some kind of weird poke at our marriages? I don't know where this is going.
I'm telling you, if you named your saw Lindsay, you wouldn't be taking it off the bench and putting it on the ground.
I'd be putting it on the bench.
You'd be using. All right. Maybe we've gone too far today. Well, this has been quite eye-opening.
Say that you started it. For the record, you started it.
According to her Instagram, she's divorcing you anyway because you spelled her name wrong.
That's how little I pay attention to the captions, because people are like, you should put captions because most people watch us on mute. I'm like, fine.
Right.
I don't even proofread them.
Then you got to make sure they're all right.
Then I got to make sure they spell my wife's name right. Apparently, that's a thing you got to check.
Boy, that's annoying. Well, anyway, all right. Well, I think this is informative for Ed to see just how the different materials, your workflow, what you want your shop to look like. These are all things that dictate whether that miter saw even has a place in your shop, which is kind of cool. Good deal.
Dust collection. That's the part. Other than and I've never used a K-Pex, but other than the K-Pex, I've never found good dust collection.
It's not as good as a table saw. I'll tell you that much.
No,
once you have good dust collection, you can't go back. And having dust sprayed everywhere every time I used a chop saw, it makes me itch. Actually, physically sometimes. Mm-hmm. Actually.
Yeah, I think if I didn't have that dust collection with the K-Pex, it would impact my choice. Because
everything else in the shop is clean. You turn on the miter saw and it makes a huge mess, which means I just don't ever turn it on.
It's significantly better, but it's still a miter saw. It's still going to throw some dust. Yeah. But it's way better than anything else I've used.
Yeah. Well, there you go. What a great show. that's going to do it for us today, you guys. Remember, this show is made possible by the generous contributions of our patrons. Go to patreon.com/woodtalk, as well as our friends over at Woodcraft. They're helping us out too. There's always something cool going down at your local store. So be sure and check out woodcraft.com for those details. I almost forgot something really, really big, you guys.
What? My part?
No, I forgot to announce it. There's a certain code you're going to want to know. It is WT2025.
Really? We're doing this?
WT2025.
Oh my goodness.
And that is a discount code you can use at Woodcraft. And I'm almost positive.
Can we use those?
Well, let's find out. Let's do it right now. I'm going to add a guitar kit to my... I don't want it, but I'm going to put it in my cart and see if I could check out. Let's go.
Does it work?
What did I say the code was?
I don't know.
WT2025. I'm doing this live on the show. Boom. Not valid for the item in the cart. Whoops. Okay. So there are going to be
some exclusions, apparently.
Some exclusions apply, which was, obvious. There's going to be exclusions. Certain brands don't participate with stuff like this. So,
well, what's the redemption? What is it? A percentage? Free shipping? What?
I think it's a percentage.
You don't even know.
I just thought of it last minute. Okay. It's of course they just give me the numbers. It looks like it's 10%, I think.
What is it? WT 2025.
WT 2025.
Right on.
Anyway, guys,
nope, not valid on Wood River hand planes.
Okay. See, now it should be. That's a Woodcraft product. What are we talking about?
I don't know. We're giving us crap information,
listen,
Marc.
This is new information. We just got this thing going. Let's all figure this out together. We'll work it out. But look, there's a chance it's going to work on some stuff. So go to Woodcraft and use the code WT2025.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying there's a chance. Try it out. Let me know what happens. We'll refine it and we'll make it good. But anyway, I had to get that in.
This is how much effort we put into prepping the show, if anybody was wondering.
Good golly. Look, I left work early to do this. Like, I should have had this done. This is all my fault. Matt, can you get us out of here with some local store stuff going on?
I will definitely attempt to. Okay, for the all-store events, the Kreg Demos are coming up at some point. We already mentioned that. That is the 7th and 8th featuring Kreg. So that's what's going on at your local stores. Literally all of them. Pick a store, go to one, check out some Kreg stuff. For some local events, October 24th to 26th, the Woodcraft of Parkersburg, the Woodcraft of Cincinnati, and the Woodcraft of Roanoke, the fall show and sale, in-store discounts, the Saw Stop demo. Get that hot dog ready. Saturday, October 25th, free lunch.
You think they're serving half hot dogs?
I think it's a hot dog thing, yeah.
You get a half a hot dog?
but you got to cut them because the Saw Stop won't cut them in half.
Oh, that's true, yeah. You should
flip on that bypass mode and really show them.
It'll just be a nicked hot dog.
Seconds.
Yeah.
It's a nicked hot dog.
I'll take a notched hot dog, please.
Slightly, just a slight seconds on the hot dog. All right, October 20th.
Speed notches.
Speed notches, yes, so it goes down faster.
And it also holds more ketchup and mustard that way.
Ooh,
perfect.
There you go, like those spiral
flavor
dogs.
notches.
Flavor notches.
Hot dogs now with flavor notches.
Yeah.
Flavor notches by Saw Stop.
We're still going on this. October 24th and 25th, Orlando Woodcraft is having the 2025 Fall Woodworking Extravaganza. Free demos, lumber specials, and discounts store-wide. October 25th, the Woodcraft of Woburn, the annual tool swap. Bring your old or underused tools to sell. Festool USA will also be set up a tent to demo the latest tools and accessories. Woodcraft of Woburn will provide free pizza, soft drinks, and a few giveaways.
I love the contrast that this thing sets up. You're doing an old
Get
tool.
some Festool.
Use stuff, and Festool's like, look at us over here.
Make sure you bring all your underutilized Festool to sell.
There we go. Perfect.
Good stuff.
October 25th, the Woodcraft of Portsmouth Oktoberfest demos literally all day. Hand-cut dovetails, Rubio monocoat, saw stop, Festool domino, laser engraving, resin pouring and turning. Ooh. We will also have brats, sauerkraut, root beer, pretzels, and more.
Heck yeah, man. That sounds like a good time.
I would go to that.
Sufa.
I could do a brat right now.
Hit me, baby.
With or without Saw Stop notches, flavor notches.
I got it. Well, no, don't break the seal.
Yeah, don't
Like,
pierce the case
I
there
want
on
that-
that one.
That's true.
I need the juice in there.
Give me the juices.
Give me them
You like
juices.
the juice, huh?
Look at the juice. It's good.
All right, Shannon, send us
Fair
home.
enough. Send in questions, comments, what you would put in your hot dog nachos. You know, nacho cheese, jalapenos, relish, whatever. Send those, please. Please send those to woodtalkshow@gmail.com. Or if you don't want to do an email thing, just go to woodtalkshow.com. There's a form there you can fill out. It goes into things that we don't ever check, so maybe don't use that. Instead, woodtalkshow@gmail.com is probably better. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast app or whatever, we appreciate
Whatever
you.
you're doing.
Yeah.
Thank you much.
You do your thing. We don't judge, mitersaw or not. You know, you're still a woodworker to us. Doesn't matter. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.